Hi, everyone. Thanks so much for joining today's EnergyTech University Prize webinar. We're going to give everyone about a minute to get logged in and settled, so if you'll just sit tight, we will begin shortly. Thanks. All right, I think we can go ahead and get started. Once again, welcome everyone, and thank you so much for joining today's informational webinar on the EnergyTech University Prize 2024, brought to you by the Office of Technology Transitions. My name is Jackie Petrie. I work on the NREL Communications team supporting EnergyTech UP. And before we dive into today's presentation, I want to go over just a few quick housekeeping items. I'm sure you're all very familiar with Zoom at this point, so you probably know that you have a couple options for connecting to audio, and you can change those by navigating to the bottom left-hand corner of your screen and changing your speaker settings. This is a reminder to all of our panelists to please stay muted when not presenting. Anybody in the audience, if you have questions at any point during the webinar, you can feel free to submit those through the Q&A tab. You also have a chat tab, but we're asking if you could submit questions to the Q&A tab just so we can make sure we address all of them and don't lose track of anything. And then if you have any trouble with the webinar, we will be posting an audio and video recording of today's presentation with the slide deck on HeroX, likely tomorrow or in the following days. So for today's presentation, we have a lot of items to get through, a lot of really exciting information to share. We'll do a quick introduction to the program and hear from a couple of guest speakers from OTT and some alumni. We'll talk about the student track, the faculty track, and bonus prizes, a few highlights from last year's competition. We'll talk about the final pitch event and promotion of student and faculty teammates. We'll end with a Q&A session. So with that, I will hand things over to Joe Simon, Prize Administrator from the National Renewable Energy Lab.
Thanks so much, Jackie. Hi, everyone. My name is Joe. As she mentioned, I am here at the National Renewable Energy Lab, and we are supporting the U.S. Department of Energy and the Office of Technology Transition to administer the EnergyTech University Prize. So I don't think it has to be said or restated, but energy makes the world function successfully, whether it's for this webinar that we're using, for how we get from place to place, how we secure our food, or anything in between. And we're excited to see all of the innovation that might be possible to grow this energy ecosystem of the future. Whether that's thinking about new generation or new integration capabilities, thinking about how and where and when energy is used, how we move energy or things from one place to another, what technologies are used to generate this. So is there innovations in nuclear energy, in carbon capture, in water power, or anything else that you might think of? And then how do we make sure that it's secure, reliable, and consistent for those that we need? And that's where the EnergyTech University Prize comes in. At its highest level, this really is about tasking student teams to craft and present a business plan using national laboratory developed or other high potential energy technologies. Taking that idea and understanding what's possible in the energy ecosystem as a career, as an entrepreneur, as an inventor, as a developer, as a business leader, what can you do to really impact the future of our world as you think about energy in these places? And how can you present a plan that is actionable, that inspires others to do something different than they would have otherwise. Additionally, this year, we're excited to also add a new faculty track that really challenges faculty to incorporate or expand energy technology commercialization and entrepreneurship topics into their institution's educational activities. So as we are passionate about this is now our third year, we've seen students come with great ideas for how to present these commercialization plans, how to integrate technologies into new businesses, and sometimes form those into successful pathways for themselves as individuals or for the business itself. And so now we're excited to add opportunities for faculty to do what they do best, take new ideas and integrate it into their professional activities. At its highest level, this program really is about building a bigger tent. How do we build engagement between colleges all across the United States, at universities, with the Department of Energy, with national labs, with incubators, with accelerators, with industry and others? How do we show what's possible? So if we have students in business or communications who haven't considered energy as a career pathway, we'd like them to. We'd like them to think about what is exciting, interesting, and valuable in this space. If we have engineering or STEM students who maybe haven't considered the business side of these calculations, how are we able to bring those different pieces together? Let's see if I may have just lost my headphones. Can you hear me?
We can hear you, Joe.
Oh, great. Sorry, I thought my headphone had died. So we're really excited to see how you can think about commercialization and how that can help launch individual careers. And then with the faculty, how you can improve energy technology commercialization at your activities. Throughout the slides today, you'll see a number of images. These were all taken from former competitors' presentations. You can see business plan structures, innovation, creative ideas, whether that's a new business model for an existing technology or it's a new technology developed by themselves or by their institution. We're excited to hear what ideas you have with it. The student competition is simple. You have to submit a register entry by February 1st, and then our competitors will be part of our explore phase of the competition. This is when you're really trying to build up your idea, do some research, do some investigation. And finally, you'll present an idea at the end of February on either February 27th, 28th, or 9th to your region's judges. It's a light lift. It's a way to get introduced. It's a 200-word summary to register, and then a few weeks worth of opportunity to develop your solution and present it, getting live feedback, hearing from others, and really benefiting from that participation. We'll identify some regional and bonus prize finalists who then receive additional resources and support to refine their solution before finally pitching as part of a national event in April at the Energy Thought Summit in Austin, Texas. There's lots of money that we're excited to be able to give away, but we also believe that participation is beneficial to the students, to the faculty, to their networks, and many others. And so we look forward to sharing more about how this program works and why you should consider participating or convincing others at your institution to participate. As mentioned, we are also excited to add a faculty track this year. In this faculty track, faculty are encouraged to explore how technology commercialization and entrepreneurship activities could exist at their institution. At that early stage, there's an optional submission deadline where faculty can submit some initial ideas and then be considered for one of 10 different $4,000 Faculty Explorer Awards. Everyone, both those who were accepted and did submit by that deadline and anyone else who finds about it later, are welcome to participate in our develop phase and then submit an implementation plan about how their institution could change or grow or modify what they're doing or create a new platform where they're able to change energy technology commercialization and entrepreneurship education at their institution through their participation. And then hopefully they'll go forth and do that in the future. Throughout this program, we're excited that this is a low barrier to entry. If you have an idea, if you're passionate, if you have a technology that you've developed, or you have a business approach that you understand, you're able to register with just a 200-word summary. You're able to present virtually about 4 weeks later. It does not need to be an established startup. You do not need to control the IP, and you're evaluated based on the quality of your plan. There's lots of money, as mentioned earlier, that's available to be won. And we also support faculty as they come up with their ideas, develop support across their institution, and submit that implementation plan towards the end of the program. I'll close this brief introduction by reminding you that students and faculty from any institution, anywhere in the United States, are welcome and encouraged to compete. community colleges, business students, engineering students, PhD candidates, faculty who are well established in their programs and their professional lives, and those that are new. We're excited to see what you can come up with and what ideas that you might have. I'll turn things over now to Edward Rios, our commercialization executive with the U.S. Department of Energy's Office of Technology Transitions, the main program sponsor for this project. Edward?
Thanks, Joe. And good afternoon or good morning, everyone. It's an honor to be here. This is my second year that I'm being involved with this wonderful program. It is certainly, I want to reiterate what Joe had said. This is a low barrier of entry. This program really wants to encourage all students and faculty to apply. And the wonderful mechanism that we use is this prize mechanism that really is a great way to collaborate and partner with the department. This year, we are introducing a new faculty track, and I want to reiterate that this is brand new. We are certainly encouraging all those faculty to take a look and be sure to study what we're trying to do. We are trying to get energy technology commercialization implemented in as many places as we can. And why do we want to do this? Well, OTT main mission is to be the energy commercialization experts at the Department of Energy. As many of you know, DOE has historically been a premier research and development institution. OTT's job is to enable those wonderful investments in R&D to get into the market. And the Energy Technology University Prize is a tool that we use to accomplish that. Amongst many, we have an EPIC program that funds accelerators and incubators. We have the Technology Commercialization Fund, which has been supercharged with the infrastructure law funding that creates lots of programs for not only our national labs, but the private sector as well. And finally, we have the lab partnering service that is the Google search engine for energy technology at our national lab. This is just a few of the examples that what we do here at OTT, and the gateway to everything begins with EnergyTech UP. So I hope all of you can take advantage of this wonderful opportunity, and hope to see you in Austin in April. Thanks, and good luck.
Thanks so much, Edward. With that, we'll transition quickly to some thoughts from former competitors. First, a very short video, and then second, a special guest from one of our winning teams from the last year. One moment.
EnergyTech as a competition is really special.
I can't recommend competing enough.
After the competition, I was approached by multiple investors, and I also was able to secure multiple PhD positions.
This competition was really the catalyst behind kind of spurring us forward towards an actionable startup.
For this competition, I actually used my own innovative idea and product that I had been creating in a research lab.
EnergyTech really gives you the opportunity to be evaluated on just the quality of the idea that you're pitching for your business plan.
I would say the biggest thing is that the competition helped open up so many opportunities with networking, and also the prize money helped go towards gaining intellectual property.
We really didn't have a business plan at all. That was all created during this, and we got great help from our mentors.
It's so much fun, and really just once again, like, it is a once in a lifetime competition that comes with a very explicit goal of educating students, but also like emphasizes the need for a realistic business plan.
They really helped us to kind of craft what we wanted to do and how we can kind of approach commercialization.
Awesome educational experience. Like, I learned so much about the market of, so I actually had no intention of ever really being in the quote unquote tech startup space. But this experience was really so eye-opening and rewarding that I actually ended up working at a battery recycling startup that I learned about over the course of my research for this project.
If you were able to have the same opportunity, then I would definitely highly encourage you to participate.
EnergyTech as a competition.
Great. Well, hopefully that was exciting. I'll turn things over now to Kevin O'Sullivan, the founder and CEO of Alpreneur and 776 Climate Fellow that was part of the 2022 EnergyTech UP competition and received the Nuclear Energy Technology Bonus Prize, now part of the Office of Technology Transition's 2023 Cradle to Commerce cohort and the University of Chicago's 2023 Resurgence cohort. Alpreneur's mission is to sustainably fuel today's cleanest power source and invigorate American national security through nuclear fuel recycling. Kevin, are you on and able to say a few words about your participation?
Yes, absolutely. Thank you so much, Joe. And I think just like Edward had said, the EnergyTech Prize is really a gateway to almost everything in DOE, and certainly for Alpreneur, that was the case as a company, where we're really truly blessed to have been part of the program as part of the inaugural cohort. And you get so much hands-on experience and visibility within the Department of Energy, the immense faculty, the immense researchers, administrators, and just the expertise throughout the Department of Energy is enormous. And the EnergyTech University Prize really offered Alpreneur that highway and access to for us as a company to sort of get into that and access that system. And I really couldn't be more grateful to the resources given by this program. I think it's one of the best things going for OTT. It was super helpful for us to get involved in that ecosystem. And I really attribute Alpreneur's success to beginning in energy tech and getting that validation directly with scientists of our business model, of the right technology that we should use, and being open-minded and listening to those researchers, that expertise that lies within the DOE. And OTT did a tremendous job of connecting me and my team across that landscape. And yes, I couldn't be more grateful. So thank you, Joe, and then everyone in EnergyTech and OTT.
Great, thank you so much. And I know that we have similar examples and perspectives from others as well. So really hope to gain another 600 past competitors who look forward to sharing similar ideas and impacts in the future. Thank you so much for your time today, and good luck with all of your work moving forward. So with that, I'll spend a few minutes talking about our student track, and then we'll talk a bit about our faculty track. So in the student track, we're excited to be able to enable up to 225 different teams to present live across 15 different regional events. Distinct from many other approaches that could have been possible, where we get everyone to submit a written package and we identify who the finalists are, we really feel that this opportunity to present live, to hear each other's pitches, as well as to practice pitching yourself, to get feedback from industry judges and others, is extremely valuable. And we look forward to being able to enable 225 teams this year to have that experience. That will take place as part of our 2024 Explore events. We will have about 15 regions across the US based on who registers and who has interest in the program. And we will assign about 12 to 15 teams per region. Again, the exact regional boundaries will depend on who signs up and the competition that we have, but we do see that it's beneficial for you to be able to share ideas, hear feedback from industry judges, and be connected with incubators, accelerators, or other programs in your region. It helps with outreach, connections, opportunities, and follow-on activities. And so look forward to really thinking about those 12 to 15 teams for each of those 15 different regions. Those regions will each have their own industry judges. So you'll get really close feedback and ideas and questions and answer sessions with each of those activities based on your presentation as part of an Explore event. Improved from our 2023 competition, we've consolidated our regional Explore events into just 3 days. This will enable better networking, more equal time for preparation across all the different regions than we've had in the past, as well as some idea sharing with some thought leader speakers and other activities. We expect the East regions to be hosted on February 27th, the Central regions on February 28th, and the West regions on February 29th, each in the afternoon of their local time zone. To make this possible, we're so appreciative and the students and faculty benefit from the support of 15 different regional conveners. They range from university organizations like the Rice Alliance for Technology and Entrepreneurship and the University of Arizona Center for Innovation to regional organizations like Grid Catalyst, Florida High Tech Corridor, or others. All of these different organizations commit their time and their staff to help outreach to your institution, to provide mentorship, to identify amazing judges, whether they are investors or entrepreneurs or inventors or faculty or those who run accelerators or incubators, and find those right judges to hear your ideas, give feedback, and help make sure that the best ideas advance as finalists in this competition. I'm excited to share that all energy technologies are welcome. So this can be technologies that produce or store energy. It can be technologies that improve the efficiency of energy consumption or energy transmission, or increase the security and reliability. So there's many ways in which you can participate. You'll hear later about some bonus prizes that are available for specific technology areas. That is exciting, and we're very appreciative of that opportunity, but recognize that any idea that you have, a business plan that leverages an energy technology, is welcome in this competition. We look forward to seeing what ideas you have. You can see we have had ideas from mining to chemistry to energy generation or long-term duration energy storage to other types of approaches, solar and wind and water, nuclear, geothermal, and more. We look forward to those ideas. In this program, it's important to note that this is not a startup competition. You don't need to own or have a license to any IP, and you don't have to have a business form. You are able to present a business plan for commercializing that energy technology. It can be very early stage. And if you find traction and you find success and you want to form a business later and try to take that to reality, great. We couldn't be more thrilled, but that is not necessary. This is prior to that idea of a startup competition. You're able to leverage in this competition a technology that you or your team members developed. So maybe something in a research lab, maybe something that you've done on your own. It could be something developed by others at your institution, another faculty or someone else, and you're going to work on the business model or the commercialization plan for that technology that was developed and owned by your institution. So you can balance that perspective of who's inventing and then who's presenting the commercialization or business plan. If your university or you don't have access to your university's IP, you're welcome to find technologies that were developed by the Department of Energy's national labs and present a business plan for commercializing those technologies. You can explore many of them through the lab partnering service offered by the Office of Technology Transitions. And you can also present new and innovative business models for emerging technologies that are simply of interest to your team. So we've seen one team compete successfully in the past, presenting a new approach to agrivoltaics or integrating agriculture and photovoltaics into a business plan. But they didn't develop a new type of solar technology. It was really about the business plan for how that program could succeed. If you are inspired to participate, but you don't have a technology in mind, I highly encourage you to look at the Office of Technology Transitions Lab Partnering Service. They have nearly 2,000 technologies that are available for license from the national labs. We've worked with those national labs to highlight about 100 that they think are primarily and especially ready for commercialization that might be of interest to you and accessible to you to present a business plan around. You're not restricted to just those technologies, though. You can explore anything within the lab partnering service and present successfully. If you want to learn more, I highly recommend that you read our rules. They'll indicate the topics of interest, what you'll do, and how winners are determined. These rules are about 30 pages in length with some appendices after that. They were released on September 27th, and they really define what you'll do, how you'll do it, what you'll have to submit, and how winners are determined. So if you want to succeed, make sure you know the rules of the game, and I highly recommend you look at that rules document. I will highlight again, though, like we talked about this not being a startup competition. In this program, winners are determined based on the strength of the plan presented, not the strength of the resume or the CV of the students presenting. So in this idea, we aren't asking the judges to say, is this the right group of 3 people to operate this business? Instead, is this a good business plan? Is this a good commercialization plan for the energy technology being presented? So you'll see there's technology areas being evaluated like technology identification, market assessment, economic feasibility, potential impact, and the overall business plan. You'll have 5 minutes to present as part of your regional event with 3 minutes for Q&A. You'll be able to hear other team presentations, and one regional finalist will be picked from each one of those 15 regions. Those finalists receive $3,000 each and are invited to continue to the refine and pitch stages of the program. For those that aren't selected as a finalist, we do hope and we do hear that there's a lot of value to be gained regardless of the outcome of that stage. In addition to the 15 that will advance as regional finalists, we'll also have many different teams advance as bonus prize finalists. So these are on technology areas, and also new this year, we will have a bonus prize finalist specifically associated with an all undergraduate team. We've historically had very great participation from undergraduates, from graduate students, as well as PhD candidates. And we want to provide yet another pathway and opportunity for success for our all undergraduate teams. We also have a lab partnering service bonus prize. So all of these help you to be identified as a finalist. In total, in this program, up to 28 different teams can win a share of our $450,000 in cash prizes. Note that these prizes are awarded for work already done and come with no ownership transfer, no further obligations, and no further reporting requirements. This is our prize providing to you for the work you do in this competition, and we hope you do awesome things with what is received. Throughout this program, to summarize what I had just said, our regional finalists receive $3,000 each, and our bonus prize finalists receive $3,000 each. Our 15 regional finalists and 13 bonus prize finalists. All those 28 teams are then eligible to compete for the remainder of the awards. So just because you became a, for example, nuclear bonus prize finalist does not guarantee that you will win the nuclear bonus prize. There could have been a regional finalist who also had an amazing nuclear technology who could be eligible to win that bonus prize. So everything is up in the air and everything is competition for that national event. And we really look forward to seeing what great ideas everyone generates. A final reminder on eligibility is that students from anywhere in the US pursuing any degree at any level are welcome and invited to compete. We have had students compete successfully from community colleges. We've had students participate as part of a class where a faculty said, I have 15 students. I'm going to break those 15 students into 5 teams of 3 students each. They will each find a technology on the lab partnering service and present a business plan for that technology. Some of them have won. That has been a successful model. Others have been entrepreneurship clubs or energy clubs. Sometimes we've had PhD students or those in a senior capstone program all compete successfully in this program. There's different pathways for success no matter where you're at in your institution or your collegiate journey. You can be at any US-based collegiate institution. It is important to recognize that the team captain must be a US citizen or permanent resident. That's how we can convey the prize money from our US Department of Energy to you. Other students can be part of your team, but the captain has to be a US citizen or permanent resident. There's also a note here that business plans that have not previously received notable funding and the dollar amount is indicated in the rules may receive preference as we are seeking new ideas and new plans, but it is not an eligibility criteria. You can still compete even if you've raised significant money or secured significant funding in the past. Following that close of registration on February 1st, let's say we get 300 applications or 300 submissions, we'll allocate and submit those across the 15 different regions for the best approach to equity, success, and fairness that we can according to the constraints of the rules. And with that, I'll turn things over briefly to my colleague Hannah to talk about our student track bonus prizes. Hannah?
Thanks, Joe. Hi, everyone. My name is Hannah Balling. I am one of the Enroll Prize administrators for EnergyTech UP. Just like last year, we are collaborating with multiple program offices across the Department of Energy to offer bonus prizes for the student track. Next slide, please. This year, I am very excited to tell you that we have added some additional bonus prizes. Oh, sorry, I went one slide too far. Go back. Thank you, Joe. But yes, we have added some additional bonus prizes, bringing our total up to $325,000 that is available to all teams in addition to the Explore Phase and Pitch Phase prizes. Next slide. After all of the Explore Phase presentations have concluded, technology offices will select one finalist team for each of their challenges and award them $3,000 each. Those finalists are then invited to participate in the refine and pitch phases, where they will compete in person against all other finalists for both the national prizes and each of the 13 $22,000 bonus prizes. All of the program offices who offered bonus prizes last year are returning for the 2024 competition. And we are also implementing brand new bonus prizes from the Hydrogen Fuel Technologies Office, the Office of Electricity, the Office of Manufacturing and Energy Supply Chains, and the new undergrad bonus prize from the Office of Technology Transitions. As you can see, these bonus prizes cover a wide range of topics across many different technology areas. So we do encourage you to read more about each of these in the competition rules document to see if your submission could be eligible for one of these prizes. Thanks. Back to you, Joe.
Thanks so much, Hannah. So now I'll spend a few minutes to talk about our new faculty track. In this track, faculty are invited to compete for a share of $100,000 in cash prizes for the successful development and implementation of educational activities that engage increasing numbers of students on energy technology, commercialization, and entrepreneurship topics at their institution. That's a bit of a mouthful, but the idea here is that we want to get more faculty just getting a little bit further in encouraging their leadership, encouraging their colleagues, encouraging themselves to focus on these topics in the work that they do every day. And so this could be that we encourage you to submit by January 5th some initial ideas and some initial interest. This is primarily intended for those faculty who maybe don't already have an established program. And from amongst those who submit by January 5th, we will award 10 $4,000 Faculty Explorer Awards. This is meant to help engage your time, help you get successful, and find some support and traction as you work through the development implementation phase. However, the develop and implementation phase is open to any faculty, whether or not you were one of the faculty explorers submitted who was chosen, or if you found out about the program after January 5th, you're welcome to still compete and submit an implementation plan to help institutions increase these activities. These ideas both, we hope, will help you find more traction at your institution, as well as provide some insight and some ideas to the Office of Technology Transitions, who can publish a toolkit to help inform other institutions how they might take similar lessons learned or experiences moving forward. So these ideas of what you might do could be the integration of new educational modules into an existing course. It could be the development of a new course or program. You might create an accelerator or incubator program. You might think about different approaches for co-teaching from different disciplines, or maybe create some different distance learning modules. You could think about maybe publishing new student-centered materials or anything else that we haven't yet considered. This really is wide open, and we want to see your ideas of how these topics could be better integrated into accredited degree programs or into business schools, into different areas that students are interested in right now. For that first phase, up to 10 teams of faculty or individual faculty who submit by January 5th will be identified as a Faculty Explorer and receive $4,000 each. They'll be encouraged to continue in the competition, and what they're able to submit, what they're tasked to submit by January 5th is not that complex. It is a project title and short summary, a single slide that summarizes their idea, a 3-page written document addressing the content shown to the right, which is very small, but you can find in the rules. But it asks questions like, why are you applying? How do you see your proposed activities fitting into your current activities? What are the foreseen challenges associated with doing so? And what's the impact should this be successful? And then a short set of questions on our competition platform, and then a resume. But that idea of the Faculty Explorer phase is really about that introductory level and providing support for faculty in their participation. And then all faculty, both those who are Faculty Explorers as well as anyone else, are invited to submit by April 5th for our faculty implementation phase. And in this, it would be an implementation plan of up to 10 pages, a letter or letters of support from your leadership, a resume, a completed entry form, a project title, and short description. There's more evaluation criteria and more content to be included, but the thought here is that you would provide your approach, develop your own approach, which hopefully you can then implement in the near future at your institution. And some of those ideas received could also inform best practices or recommendations that the Department of Energy might provide to others moving forward. So winners are determined based on the analysis of need, the actionability of that solution, the support that you have, the potential impact, and the overall implementation plan. So in that, we're excited that for our faculty track, first place will receive $25,000, second will be $15,000, third $10,000, and then 5 runner-ups will receive $2,000 each. And then this is in addition to the 10 faculty explorers. So a faculty could be chosen as both a faculty explorer and win a national prize, or it could be that a submission that was not part of the faculty explorer stage ends up winning first, second, third, or runner-up. In addition, the Office of Technology Transitions will provide a letter to your institution indicating your success, indicating your recognition for this program, which we hope helps in your own activities as a professional in this field. For both our students and our faculty, competitors will receive resources, mentorship, and support to help them succeed before, during, and after the competition. We will provide some highlighted energy technologies from the lab partnering service. We will give free access to all competitors of Energy I-Core educational materials, training content that's typically available only to national lab researchers about how to commercialize energy technologies. We'll also provide some guidance on leveraging new capabilities developed by the Office of Technology Transitions, such as the Adoption Readiness Framework, as well as provide some one-on-one mentorship as referenced by others that you heard earlier in this call, but expert mentorship from the Department of Energy, from industry partners, and from national lab staff. You'll be able to receive some past presentations and see those recordings to learn from others' experiences, receive those cash prizes, and hopefully have many industry connections as well. With that, I'll turn things over next to my colleague, Brittany, to talk about some highlights from 2023. Brittany?
Thanks, Joe. My name is Brittany Spiedels. I work at National Renewable Energy Lab on the EnergyTech UP prize. And so I'll share some highlights. Next slide, please. Last year, we had over 600 student participants who represented about 184 teams from 124 collegiate institutions. And on the right side of this slide, there's a map that shows that students were spread throughout the US and represented 44 states plus DC and 2 US territories. Students competed in 15 regional events hosted by our 17 regional conveners, and they were awarded a cumulative $345,000 in prizes throughout the competition. Next slide, please. We received a lot of positive feedback and testimonies in our follow-up surveys after the regional Explore and Final Pitch events, and 84% of students reported an increased interest in an energy career, as well as 90% of students reporting that they had increased knowledge and skills related to tech commercialization. Next slide, please. So this slide lists some highlights of the 2023 competition. 80% of students used a technology that either they came up with or came out of their institution. And then the 20% of remaining teams used the lab partnering service that we've been talking about, which is a great resource if you're unsure about a technology that you want to use for this business plan competition. And then we had a variety of industry leaders who served as judges at the regional Explore events and final event. There was a survey that asked students what they found most impactful about the competition, and things like networking, business plan development, pitch practice, and learning from others were listed as valuable aspects. Next slide. There are many avenues of success within this competition, so it doesn't matter if you're a STEM major or business major, you can find success in EnergyTech UP. And on the right side of this slide, we have some graphics showing the breakout of students by major and also by education level. There were also a variety of education levels represented, from community college participants to bachelor's and PhD and master's programs. So there were different educational levels. And this year, as Joe mentioned, we included an undergraduate only bonus prize for this year's program. Next slide. So success was achieved also after the competition, and there's many avenues for that. So some past competitors found new jobs, some raised more money for their ideas or secured IP, some received other sorts of funding or were accepted into other pitch programs, and others pursued a higher level education. And with that, I'll turn it over to Danny, who will go through the in-person pitch competition.
Hello, good afternoon, everyone. I'm Danny Zimny-Schmidt. I work at NREL with Joe and Brittany. And I wanted to talk just a moment about really the heart of the competition, which is the opportunity to pitch your ideas in front of potential investors, incubators, accelerators, and other folks who really might be able to help get your idea from a business plan idea into a successful business. So here you'll see a bunch of the students from past year's competitions doing that initial explore phase pitch event, which are held by the 15 regional conveners that you learned about earlier in this presentation that last week of February. So this is an opportunity that virtually all of our teams will get to have. Basically, we're asking you to refine an elevator pitch, if you will, describing your business idea and why it's relevant and timely and why you are the team to do it. Next slide. You'll be presenting to dozens of industry judges to provide critical feedback as well as great suggestions for how to continue development of your idea and to succeed. So these are just a few of the judges we have used in the past for this competition. When I was in college, I also did a couple of pitch competitions through the business school at my university, and I know just how kind of nerve-wracking, but also really special it is to have the opportunity to pitch your idea in front of folks who can help you further develop that idea and get it across the finish line into something that's more meaningful. So just don't overlook this opportunity to really, for a chance to connect with industry judges and folks who have connections to investors and accelerators, et cetera. For the national pitch event, so beyond the Explore event, if you're a regional winner or win a bonus prize, you'll be selected as a finalist, where you'll be invited to present and compete for the bonus and grand prizes at the national pitch event. Again, that's going to be in Austin in April, which will be held in conjunction with the Energy Thought Summit. And though you're responsible for arranging your own travel and lodging, you will be awarded prize money for the Explore event. So we're not asking you to cover it completely out of pocket. And this is really the opportunity where you'll be able to connect, not just virtually, but in person with a lot of these judges and these incubators and accelerators who may be able to fund your idea going forward. Here are some photos from last year's competition. Again, you can see the variety of student teams we had. These are regional winners. These are bonus prize finalists who all had the opportunity to be in the same room with a lot of the investors in this space, with the opportunity to connect with them and network with them afterward. With that, I think that is the end of my presentation. I will turn it back to Joe.
Great, thanks so much. And very quickly, I will turn it to Jackie. But my takeaway from all of this is, as Danny mentioned, the benefits go well beyond the prize money itself. We hope that the prize money is incentivizing both for faculty and students, but also all of the other benefits to your participation. With that, I'll turn it over to Jackie to talk about how to promote or compete.
Thanks, Joe. You can go ahead and move to the next slide. So next steps on getting involved. The first thing I would encourage everyone to do, if you are not already doing so, is to make sure you're following the EnergyTech UP page on HeroX. I will drop a link to that in the chat in just a minute. We post all of our updates there. We share information there. So just a reminder, we will be posting a recording of today's webinar. We'll post it there and share a link to the presentation there. So I can't stress enough how important it is to be following our page on HeroX for all the updates. Also read the rules. I know we've mentioned that a few times, but use that to determine how you want to participate. Joe outlined a lot of different ways that you could participate as either a student or faculty member, or even if maybe you aren't going to be eligible to participate if you're graduating, or if you're a faculty member and you're more interested in leading a team of students. Read through the rules and determine how you best fit into the competition and how you want to participate in EnergyTech UP 2024. Once you figure out how you want to participate, we have some promo pack resources you can use. I don't think they're live yet on HeroX. We'll probably be posting those next week, and we will share an update to let everyone know when those are posted. You can use that. It's going to include flyers, social posts, newsletter content, web cards, and other graphics that you can use to find other teammates or let students or faculty know about this competition at your school. Joe, if you could go back one more slide just for a minute. And then you could start building your team and start exploring technologies that you are interested in. We have a couple different resources for that as well. And I know everybody has, maybe you have at your school, like technologies that you want to pursue or that you've been researching or studying that you want to incorporate into your business plan. And then lastly, the final step to competing will be to submit a register entry on HeroX by February 1st, 2024. All right, Joe, back to you.
Thanks so much, Jackie. With that, I will close with a final reminder to say join us. Faculty submit by January 5th to be considered for the Faculty Explorer prizes, and by April 5th for the national prizes, and students submit by February 1st to be invited to the regional Explorer events. So it is still October. I know this is far away. If you are a student or a faculty with a technology interested in competing, you can develop your idea. You can see some of the recordings of our past program, and you're welcome to start work now. If you are someone at an entrepreneurship center, at a tech transfer office who's a faculty or a dean or someone at your institution, you're welcome to promote this program and encourage others to join. So we will have another one of these informational webinars in November, December, and in January. We continue to grow the word, spread the word, and look forward to your participation. For now, university staff are also welcome to promote the program, be part of a team. Only students can present to the faculty in the student track, but beyond that, we have lots of different flexibility, and the eligibility is covered in the rules as well. I'll turn things over now to Jackie to facilitate some of our Q&A activities, and we'll answer all that we can.
Thanks, Joe. I'm going to try to get through as many as we can. First question, do all students on a team have to attend the same university?
They do not. We have had many successful teams compete with students at multiple universities in the past. As long as they have a good plan for communications, they're welcome to compete successfully. The team captain is who will receive any potential prize money, and it will be up to them and previous discussions amongst their team as to how to distribute that funding. But otherwise, it is up to you to collaborate, discuss, and decide how to present. Because we don't have any IP transfer or ownership transfer through this competition, a lot of complexities associated with multiple institution participation is removed, and we do welcome and encourage multiple institution teams. And we can also support multiple teams from a single institution, so both ways. So if you have, don't worry if there's more than one team submitting. We hope to be able to enable all of you to present. So you can have multiple institutions from a single team, or multiple teams from, or multiple institutions for a single team.
Great. Can you talk about the eligibility for international students?
Sure. So this is open to undergraduate students, graduate students, and PhD students who are pursuing their PhD. And it is open for those who are attending US-based accredited institutions. The team captain has to be a US citizen or permanent resident so that we can provide that funding to them. But to that person, we have to be able to provide that funding, but other team members can be international students. So think about how you build your team if you are an international student. It would then be your responsibility to collaborate with your team captain to determine how and if you could receive any prize funding within the terms of your visa or presence. But beyond that, you are welcome to be part of a team, but US citizens or permanent residents have to be the team captain.
So this question asks, I want to participate in the event, but I don't know how to find a team. Is there any forum where I can connect with other interested participants?
Kind of. So HeroX does provide some teaming capabilities, but it's not the best. Once you see this result and you know where in the US your institution is, if you reach out to us at ott.energytechup@nrel.gov, let us know, and we're happy to also try to connect you with your regional convener. They may have other contacts at your institution or at other schools in your area and may be able to support with some of those ideas. So we're happy to play a little bit of matchmaker, but otherwise you can leverage some of the content that Jackie mentioned, that promo pack, introductory paragraphs, so you could say to a faculty, can you put this up at the beginning of your class, a single slide, or could we send this out to our distribution list of other engineering students at my institution? There's different ways that you could try to promote and find those team members as well, but we are also happy to connect you with who we would think would be your regional convener based on where in the US you are.
Great. Are Army, Navy, or Air Force labs available?
So the National Lab Technologies, again, we don't limit you as to what technology you want to leverage. So if you can find a technology that they theoretically have available for license, you're welcome to use that in your business plan, just as you would any other technology. I don't believe those labs are highlighting their technologies on the Office of Technology Transitions Lab Partnering Service, because those are only Department of Energy labs, but that doesn't restrict you from finding those other areas. So you're welcome to do that research yourself.
Great. So I have a question that asks, they said, recognizing this is not a startup competition, are students allowed to utilize IP owned by a startup? For example, if they are part of a startup themselves?
Yes. So the exciting thing here is that we are really evaluating the business plan and the commercialization plan for how that technology could be licensed, could be integrated. So that existing startup and that existing IP could be leveraged, and then the students could present the new business model for doing so. So that way it could be a feedback loop where that founder might get beneficial ideas from those students, and those students may get beneficial collaboration or investment or mentorship from that owner of that IP. That's similar where a faculty may have the IP at an institution, but the students are the ones presenting that business plan. So where the control of that IP sits is not critical for the portion of this competition.
All right, next question. What is the team size limit for the student track?
Sure. The minimum size is 2, so you have to find at least one other person to work with. And there is no technical maximum size, although I will caution you that the larger a team gets, the harder it is to be able to communicate, assign responsibility, and present your information successfully. So there is a physical limit for the national event in terms of how many students are able to present live on stage, which is indicated in the rules. Otherwise, there is no maximum team size, but there is a practical team size, as you may not be able to assign responsibility successfully if you get too large.
Great. What kind of additional resources will be provided to the finalists and winners besides the funding?
Sure. So for any of the finalists identified, we will give you access to some asynchronous Energy core content that is provided for typically 2 national labs, but developed by the Office of Technology Transitions, as well as some guidance around adoption readiness levels, technology readiness levels, and some other training materials and industry growth forum activities developed by the Office of Technology Transitions. We'll also pair all of those finalists with a mentor from either the Department of Energy Office of Technology Transitions or from a program office or from a national lab. So in the past, we've made some great pairings between the Nuclear Energy Office and Kevin, as you heard before. He was able to meet with several researchers and lab staff during that refined stage. We also have had some mentorship provided from industry organizations and entrepreneurs and founders and investors to be able to have some mentorship sessions with the teams, as well as some other resources. So it really is helping you provide that success. We will do our best, if you choose a technology from the lab partnering service, to connect you with that lab's tech transfer office and the inventor of that technology. They're under no obligation to respond to us, but because they're all independent national labs, but we will do our best to make those connections. And we have heard from some very successful collaborations between students and the inventors and the tech transfer offices at the national labs in the past. So happy to try to bring those connections.
Thanks, Joe. We've had a couple questions about eligibility of recent graduates. I will say if you have a very specific question about your team or your situation, you can always email us at ott.energytechup@nrel.gov. But just broadly speaking, Joe, can you talk about how recent graduates could potentially get involved?
Sure. So this is primarily targeted at the existing students pursuing a degree. So you could be part of a team where you might have the idea, but the active students would be the ones that had to present to judges and be the team captains. So you could be a portion of that team if desired. You could also see about the potential eligibility depending on your employment as the faculty track or some of those connections. The Office of Technology Transitions and the Department of Energy as a whole also has many other similar competitions that are available at AmericanMadeChallenges.org. We'll put that link in the chat, where those are more industry or graduate focused than this collegiate focused competition.
All right. Is there any sort of template or example business plan to illustrate expectations or what a winning submission might look like?
Yes, to some extent, we do have those recordings posted on ERX, and we can make those more clear in the resources area, how you can watch past student presentations, as well as some of the content that they were required to submit. So we can provide some of those examples that were public in the past.
Great. Are students allowed to contact labs directly for their technologies?
I can say you can try. You may or may not get great responsiveness. They're all very busy and looking for those where they see the high likelihood of that license actually going through. So you're not prevented from doing so, but your highest chance of success may be to find that technology that you are interested in. You can email us at ott.energytechup@nrel.gov, and we may be able to connect you with the tech transfer office staff who are most aware of the Energy Tech University Prize. So we'll do our best to make that successful.
Okay, I'll try to get in just a couple more questions. What is the advantage of developing a business model for technology from a national lab versus other places?
So the idea here is that some institutions may not have a deep IP portfolio. It may not be something that is available to you. You may not be in an engineering program. It may not be an area of focus for what you've done to date. And it could just be that you want to see something that is really emerging technology or highly available innovative technology from the national labs. So some of our winning teams have looked at battery recycling capabilities in different chemistries. They've looked at new solar tracking solutions. They've looked at different implementations that maybe aren't the focus of their research topic or where they are in their institution. And so it really makes it more equitable and available for any school and any student to be able to compete successfully. One of our first place teams in the first year was a team that had simply found a technology on the lab partnering service and presented a very thoughtful, very well-researched, very in-depth and innovative business plan for that technology. That researcher at the national lab then knew all of those ideas and was able to think about that as they moved their own technology forward. So while that student didn't move forward with licensing the technology they found on the lab partnering service, their career was impacted, and the ideas that they generated impacted the pathway of the inventor at the national lab.
All right, so I will ask one final question that I think segues nicely into our final thoughts and next steps. This question says, clearly this timeline targets 2024. Will the competition occur annually again, and for how many more years?
As the federal government, we can say that it is all dependent on future funding and what Congress may or may not do. So we are very committed to this program. I'm at the National Renewable Energy Lab and do not make determination associated with follow-on funding. So we hope this year is very successful, and we hope to be able to do it more in the future. But we have no promises. We are committed year by year with funding that's available from the federal government. I see some questions too about the faculty track. Our next webinar in November is going to focus more heavily on the faculty track as well. But yes, we can have faculty submit 2 different ideas. We can see those that are at the beginning of implementation, and you can talk about how this might be nudged a little bit further, become a little bit more impactful, as well as those that haven't yet been started. So in the rules, you'll see this explained in a lot more detail with many more words in terms of how different stages of implementation are welcome to compete in this program.
All right, Joe, I think we're out of time.
Thank you, everyone. I really appreciate your time today, and I look forward to your participation. Please do promote the program to others if you're not going to compete yourself, and then plan for your own success if you do plan to enter a team. Looking forward to in this upcoming year. Thanks, everyone.